Joining us now to talk more about the Murdaugh trial is criminal defense attorney Tyler Bailey. Tyler, thank you for joining us again here on Rush Hour. So let's go to what Brian was just talking about, this two-shooter theory. But if there were two shooters, wouldn't they have been covered in blood? Wouldn't there also be a trail of blood? Is this a theory that will hold up to jury scrutiny?
I think it's a theory that the jury is going to seriously have to consider. I mean, they floated this from the beginning of the trial. There's an expert who just testified that his review of the evidence seems more consistent with two shooters. And also remember, there is already an issue of a lack of blood spatter evidence. So I think this goes further to the whole defense theme from the onset of this case. I think it's something the jury will consider. Whether they believe that's enough to rule out Alec as a shooter is another question.
All right, so Tyler, all anyone is talking about, of course, is Alec taking the stand for that 2 days of testimony and questioning. How does the defense, they've rested their case at this point, but do you think they successfully redirected attention to the arguments that they were trying to make?
I think one of the biggest things the defense redirected attention to was the emotional aspect of this case and trying to paint Alec as a loving father and a father who could not kill his son and his wife. I think John Marvin, who got on stand today and testified, who was very emotional. And while he was testifying, Alec was bawling, crying as well. I think the jury has been able to see Alec more in a human, as a human person, a human being, as a father, and has to consider whether he is the one who would kill his son and kill his wife. I do think the defense has done a good job. I mean, Alec has lied throughout before this case about his financial crimes. He got on the stand, he admitted to lying, but he said he's not a shooter. So I think the defense has already had an uphill battle, but they've done a pretty good job in trying to poke holes in the defense's cases when they can, but also showing that Alec is a father. And could this father kill his son, and could he kill his wife?
Mm-hmm. And so another thing that Brian talked about just now, this jury will be making the trip to the Moselle property. That's, of course, where the murders happened. And interestingly, it's the defense team that wants this field trip to happen, not the prosecution. Why is this important?
I think it's really important. The number one reason I think it's important is because Alex originally lied about being at the kennel. Now, once the state crushed his alibi and showed that Alec was at the kennel, he gets on stand and testifies that he was there. And so the jury is going to have to consider how far is the house where Alec left. So he goes to the kennel, he testified that he leaves and goes back to his house, and that's where the murder occurred. How could he not hear the gunshot? Did he not hear dogs barking? So I think the jury needs to see the distance, get a good feel of whether Alec could be in his home and not hear the murder that was taking place down at the kennel. I'm not surprised that the prosecution did not want the jurors to go there. This is a big estate. I think they're going to get a better feel of how far the kennel was from the home. This is not a regular house that, most people in that area live in. So when they see it with their own eyes, when they walk the grounds, they'll be able to get a better picture. And I anticipate that the defense during their closing arguments will really try to hammer that point in.
All right. Criminal defense attorney Tyler Bailey. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.